Chicos, buenas tardes. Vamos a comenzar nuestra clase número 39, class number 39, second to last class. Today we are going to revise Unit 9, the last unit in this course. In the next 2 days, this Thursday, we are going to revise Unit 9 too. So what's going to be the difference? Today we are going to revise the vocabulary and grammar aspects. And Thursday, as always, we are going to practice the oral expression. So this entire week is for revising Unit 9. Again, the last unit in this course. Let me remind you before I start that in this course, not in this course, in this last exam, that is going to be next week, by the way, the last exam, test number 4, we will be covering units 8 and 9, right? So let's start now. Unit 9, ¿Dónde vives? Where do you live? As I told you, first thing we are going to revise is the vocabulary that we studied in this Unit 9. The vocabulary that we studied in this Unit 9 is a vocabulary related, words related to la casa, the house, y el vecindario, and the neighborhood. House and neighborhood. Also, and point number 2 is a little bit hard to pronounce. It means household chores. So, quehaceres domésticos. Los quehaceres domésticos. Point number 1, la casa y el vecindario, the house and the neighborhood. Point number 2, los quehaceres domésticos. Well, la casa y el vecindario, the house and the neighborhood. I will not really take my time to tell you the meaning of all these words for 2 reasons. Class number 37, you see it on top left. In class number 37, that was one of the 2 video classes that you were supposed to watch before this revision. I told you the meaning of all these words related to la casa. Also, let me go back. Pages 234 and 235. Páginas 234 y 235. In those 2 pages, this is a vocabulary corresponding to Unit 9 in your textbook Dos Mundos. You will see the meaning of all those words. The words in Spanish and the meaning of those words in English. So pages 2, write down please, 234 and 235. That was the vocabulary related to la casa. El armario, the closet, el espejo, the mirror, el estante is a cupboard, what is in the kitchen where you put the glasses and so. El fregadero, the sink, and so on. Guys, I really took my time a couple of years ago how many years ago, boy? Tony, you remember when I recorded the thing? It was like 5 years ago. Well, probably, I think was in 2020, yeah, 6 years ago. It was during COVID times. Yeah, it had to be in 2020. I record these video classes corresponding to La Casa en el Vecindario in a friend's house. So he allowed me to do it in his house because I think that his house is a little bit prettier than my own and less fancy than my own. Anyways, so if you watch class number 37, I think you will get a nice approach of parts of the houses and the neighborhood. Plus, you can see me pointing to parts of the house. I was a little bit less fat by then. COVID was starting. So anyhow, el vecindario. These are the words related to el vecindario, the neighborhood. El ascensor, the lift, or the elevator, as we say here in Guyana. El corredor, the hall. El garaje, garage. El jardín, garden. Parque, park. Patio. Patio and jardín is basically the same. You know, jardín is garden, where you plant flowers, right? But patio, let me see, it's like when in Guyana you say the yard. It's like the yard in Guyana. What you call the yard in Guyana, that is patio. It's not what you actually call patio in English. Patio in Spanish is not patio in English. Patio in Spanish means yard. So el piso, the floor, and well, go to class 37, guys. Go to class 37 and you will see the meaning of all those words. I really hope that you have watched class 37 before this revision. Well, that was the vocabulary related to la casa and el vecindario. Now we have the vocabulary was the other video class number 28, 38, vocabulary related to los quehaceres domésticos, household chores, things that you do at home. Some people don't really like to do these things, but we have, I mean, we have to have a clean house. So we want it or not, we have to, I don't know, barrer, that means sweep, eh, limpiar el piso, clean the floor, preparar la cena, prepare the dinner, regar las plantas, water the plants, and so on. So household chores. Again, class number 38, and you will see the meaning of all these expressions, which are household chores. Let me go back, please. Let me go back because I don't remember out of my head. In pages 234 and 235, vocabulary corresponding to Unit 9, you will also see the meaning of all those Spanish words, right? So that was all the vocabulary, guys, that we studied in this Unit 9. Unit 9 was entirely dedicated to house, household chores, in neighborhood, so parts of the house, things that you usually do at home, and so on. Also a very homey unit. So questions about the vocabulary that we studied in Unit 9, as always, I tell you, like when you learn a new language, it's like when you build a new house, you have the bricks. So the bricks is like the words in a new language. Of course, you have to put the bricks together. You cannot put a bridge with certain shape next to a next one. So you have to find the bridge that match that one. Well, that is what we call grammar. How you put the bricks together. But the bricks are the words. And this is something essential when you are learning a new language and you have to have the bricks, you have to learn the words. Any question, guys, about any word that you want me to pronounce, any word that you don't know the meaning related to house, household chores, neighborhood? Speak now or forever. No questions? Are you there though? Hello? Are you there, guys?
Buenas noches.
Yes,
Buenas
yes,
tardes.
Well, buenas
Yes,
noches.
we're
In
here.
what part of the world you are? Okay, I'm glad that you guys are. No, no, because you were very quiet and I was getting like scared. I said, well, I'm talking like a madman, nobody listening to me. Anyhow. Well, guys, what was the vocabulary? What was the grammar that we studied in this unit 9? To be the last unit, the grammar is not the hardest. We have studied far harder things. Sometimes I have to, my brain go faster than my tongue. And so we have studied harder things than this. So to be unit 9, to be the last one, I don't think that the grammar has been very difficult. We have studied harder things. Comparative and superlative. How to say that Vanessa is taller than Esther. Esther is richer than Señor Juan. My house is smaller than your. So how to make comparisons and how to express, how to say that something is the biggest, the tallest, or the smallest, that would be the superlative. Comparative and superlative. We will go to we will revise that just now. So the verbs conocer and saber. It happens that like a friend always tells me stupid Spanish. So why we need, I have a friend who always tells me, when you need words, you don't have enough words in Spanish. But when you don't need to have additional words, then for the most stupid things, you have a word. And this is a case. You have the verb to know in English, but for whichever reason, we have two different verbs for to know. And we use them in different contexts, right? So you will say, I know all the time, but we have two different ways to say I know in Spanish. One is the verb conocer, means to know, and the next one is the verb saber, that means to know. Duh. So two different ways to say to know in Spanish. The third point is the preterite. A preterite, that's a fancy word that we use in Spanish. Preterite means simple past. Yeah, because hey, what? In English, you have the simple past, but in Spanish, we have more than one past tense. So we have the preterite, we have the imperfect, we have the pluperfect. Yes, we have different past tenses in Spanish. That's why we cannot simply say past tense. We need to set a specific name for each one of those past tenses between inverted commas. And preterite is the actual past tense in English. So how to express things that happen in the past? Don't bother what I just said. How you are not going to be linguistics, you are not going to be uh, Spanish experts. So how to talk about things that happen in the past? You will use the simple past in English. You will use the preterite in Spanish. Simple past, preterite, same thing. Not exactly same thing, but so well, yeah, that's it. That was a grammar that we studied in this unit 9. Let's start with los comparativos y los superlativos. The comparative and the superlative. Um, One thing, uh, in standard English, you will say, for example, I don't know, Jose is taller than Miguel. Jose is taller than Miguel. But you will say Jose is more handsome than Miguel. So you have two different ways to express comparative in English. Er than and more than. So if the adjective is long, you will use more than. But if the adjective is short, you will use er than. However, in Creolese, in Guyanese English, you usually do not use the er than thing. You just say more. You don't say taller than. You would say more tall than, more big than, more rich than. You know that in standard English, that is not correct, but in Creolese, it's more than for everything. So Spanish is just like English Creolese. In Spanish, we don't have the ending er for short adjective and more for long adjective. In Spanish, everything is more than. Of course, using the Spanish words. A point I'm trying to make. We say more in Spanish, more handsome than, more rich than, more tall than. So if you speak Creolese English, this way to express the comparative in Spanish is going to be easy for you is because you are really familiar with it in Creolese. It's just more than. So what is that more in Spanish? Más, M-A-S. Más also means plus, as in tres más dos, 3 plus 2. But that más, you can see it here on the screen. Let me circle it. This más, there is supposed to be a circle, right? This más means more. So if I want to say, um, 1 second, my internet is unstable. Let me stop.
Deixa-me só ir pegando a pelota que aí não tinha.
I know. That's why I told you that I was going to stop because I'm seeing that my internet is unstable. Can you hear me better now, guys?
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
it's going for me.
Yeah, it's some fluctuations that internet has. I don't know. Anyhow, I want to say Juan is taller than Pedro. Juan is taller than Pedro. First of all, in Spanish, we will not say taller than. We will say more tall than. Okay, that's the first thing that you have to remember. In Spanish, we will not say Juan is taller than Pedro. We will say Juan is more tall than Pedro, just like you do in Creolese, because we don't have an structure equivalent to er than in Spanish. So we say more tall than. Juan is more tall than Pedro. Juan es más alto que Pedro. Más, you can see here on the screen, means more, and que means than. So, Juan es, Juan es más, more, alto, tall, que Pedro, than Pedro. Juan es más alto que Pedro. Anybody has an idea? Anybody can figure out how to say Juan is more shorter, but in Spanish we will say more short, right? It's shorter, but we will say more short. So Juan is more short than Pedro. Anybody know how to say that? Make a try, make a try. How can I say in Spanish Juan is shorter than Pedro? Which would be Juan is more short than Pedro. Anybody has an idea how to say that in Spanish?
Um, Start the try.
Of course.
Juan es más bajo que Pedro.
That is perfect. Juan es más what, more what, bajo, short, than whom, que Pedro. Perfecto, Vanessa. Juan es más bajo que Pedro. I think that structure is pretty easy. It's just like in English. Well, just like in Creolese. Uh, you can also say in English. I don't hear it too often. I'm not sure if it's because you guys don't use it, but I don't really use it too often on the road. Less than. Like for example, Juan is less tall than Pedro, or Juan is less short than Pedro. I don't really. It exists in English. I know that it exists. I studied at school, but I don't really hear the less than too much on the road. I do hear more than all the time, but less than. Anyways, we do use it all the time in Spanish. Less than. Menos que. Look, menos is this. M-E-N-O-S. Menos. Menos que. So something like Juan is less short than Pedro. Juan es menos, no menos, menos bajo que Pedro. Menos also means minus, like in mathematics. Más is plus, menos is minus. But also means more and less. By the way, and now that I say more and less, I don't know why, because I have never heard this in my entire life. But in many books to teach Spanish, for so, I see así, así. I have never heard that in my entire life. That así, así. It's true that so, if you translate it literally to Spanish, word by word is así, así. But I tell you, it, I'm gonna turn 49 years old the last day of this month. So like in a few days, I will be 49 years old. In my 49 years, I've never heard that así. So how we say so, we say more, less, like más, menos, más, menos. If you want to say so in Spanish, say más, menos. Eh? Oh. So that's it, guys. Anyhow, any question about how to say more than or less than in Spanish?
No, señor.
No.
Seguro. You sure? Okay. So that was to say that something is more or something is less than another thing. But what happens if the things are the same? Same tall, same short, same rich, same pretty, same ugly, same fat, same everything. Well, you use in English as like as in huh? As like for example when I say I am as smart as you are, or my house is as pretty as your own. So that as in Spanish is tan como. Tan como. Look this example in the book. Marisa es tan inteligente como Clarissa. What that means? That means Marisa is as smart as Clarissa, or as intelligent as Clarissa. But intelligent wouldn't be the, even inteligente sounds like intelligent. The better translation in that case would be smart. So as smart as. Tan inteligente como. So you put tan in front, you put como after, and the adjective in the middle. Okay, so for example, if you want to say Verónica, no. Oh, Saint Juan and Saint Pedro. Juan is as tall as Pedro. Juan is as tall as Pedro. I am 6'1". Pedro, whoever is Pedro, is 6'1" too, right? So he's not taller than me. He's not shorter than me. He is as tall as Juan, as tall as me. So Juan is. Everybody knows that. Second to last class, everybody knows how to say Juan is in Spanish. Juan es. Juan es tan alto como Pedro. Juan is tan alto como Pedro. Who can tell me? Who can tell me in Spanish? Who can tell me in Spanish? If Juan is as tall as Pedro, obviously Juan is, I mean, that sounds kind of stupid, but you can say, no. I, a better example came to my mind. I was gonna ask you to translate something really stupid. No, this is not stupid now. If Juan is as tall as Pedro, Pedro is as tall as Juan. Common sense. So, how would you say in Spanish? How would you say in Spanish? Pedro is as tall as Juan. Who can tell me in Spanish? Pedro is as tall as Juan.
It's like the same thing. Pedro es tan alto como. ¿Nada?
Exacto, same thing. Now, how can I say Pedro is as rich as Juan? Rich is rico, lot of dinero, lot of paisa. So Pedro is as rich as Juan. Same money Pedro has, same money Juan has. Come on, who can tell me that?
All right. So, am I if I go again?
Yeah, you can go again.
All right. So you said Rich is Rico. Is Rico you said?
Mhm.
And the line is Pedro is as rich as Juan.
That is correct.
Okay. So basically, put it will be Pedro es tan rico como Juan.
That is
90% right.
that is perfecto. That is perfecto, Vanessa. Pedro es tan rico como Juan. Pedro es tan rico como Juan. Tan rico como. As rich as. Perfecto, perfecto. Perfecto. Well, so far, we know how to make comparisons, how to say that something or somebody is more than the next person or one other thing, or less, more or less. You also know how to say that something is as something as a next thing. So we know how to make comparisons. But now, what if I have the tallest, the richest, the most handsome, the most beautiful person thing in the neighborhood, in the country, in the world, in the planet, whatever. So let's take a look at the example below. Anton is a name, is a male name. Anton. Anton es el más callado de la clase. Callado means quiet. So that means Anton is the most quiet boy in the class. The most quiet in the class. Anton es el más callado de la clase. And I do think that this structure, it is not hard. When you acquire the structure, it's not hard. You will use it easily. But the first approach, I mean, it looks a little bit scary. I mean, to me, or for past students, I don't know if for you are the most brilliant, los más inteligentes del mundo in the world. But for my past students, this structure is a little bit hard. So let me go step by step. I want to say that Guyana is the most beautiful country in the world. Yeah, so Guyana is the most beautiful country, is understood, in the world. Guyana is the. The can be el o can be la. Guyana is female. It ends in e. So Guyana es la. Most, just like more, is más. Más means more or most. So más. Beautiful, hermosa, in the world, del mundo. Guyana es la más hermosa del mundo. Guyana es la más hermosa del mundo. I want to say, wait. I want to say now that, I don't know, Maria is the most beautiful in the neighborhood. María es, let me put it below, la más hermosa del vecindario. María es la más hermosa del vecindario. Now, I want to say that Jose is the most intelligent in the neighborhood, the smartest in the neighborhood. Jose. Inteligente. But see here, I had la because Maria is a female, but as Jose is a male, instead of la, what should I put? If I am él, muy bien, él. So Jose is. So no questions about that. That's everybody knows that. I mean, not no questions about that. I don't want to be so commanding. I mean that I assume that there are no questions about Jose is because I assume that everybody knows what that means. So Jose is. Now, el más inteligente, the most intelligent del vecindario in the neighborhood. Same thing, we have this example here below. Antón es el más callado de la clase. Antón es el más callado de la clase. See, the sentence that express superlative, it always has three parts. The subject and the verb, then the actual superlative, and then the environment where they are the most something. Antón es el más callado de la clase. I want to say something like, I don't know, Miguel. Something about Miguel, right? I will tell you what just now. Miguel is the tallest in the class. How you say the tallest in the class? Well, in the class is de la clase. You don't have to change de la clase. You only have to change this part. So how can I say the tallest? That would be the most tall. Remember that Spanish is like in Creolese. The most tall. How will you say the most tall? El más.
El más alto.
Claro, of course. El más alto. Now, look. It's not Miguel now. It's la Vanessa. Maybe Vanessa is the shortest, but let's say that Vanessa is the tallest in the class. So I want to say the tallest. How can I say the tallest for a girl? What do I have to change here for a girl? It's two things that I have to change.
Sir, the first thing, you gotta change the O for alto into E. That's how I secure.
Okay,
That's the first thing.
That's one of the most important things. And the second thing that I have to change, guys?
The L, because I'm not a boy.
Of course, él is because the other person was a boy, but now it's la because it's a girl. So Vanessa es la más alta de la clase. See, the structure is very easy if you split it in three parts. The subject is the actual superlative and then in the environment. But let's say that Vanessa, I want to say that she's the tallest in the house. It's just one word that I have to change here. Just one
All
word.
right, sir. Sir, I know I'm talking about class anyway. Sir, clase, because it's not class is speaking about now. It's about house. So clase is casa.
Perfecto. Vanessa es la más alta de la casa. So in her house, she's taller than the father, taller than the mother, taller than the siblings, taller than the dog, taller than the cat. So Vanessa es la más alta de la casa. See, guys, I don't, as I told you, the construction can look a little bit scary at the beginning, but to me, it's not that scary at all if you divide the sentence in three parts. So any question about this structure, guys, for the superlative? Any question about the superlative, guys?
All right, sir. I think I might be skipping ahead. I'm not too sure. But one thing or two things. One, is this our last class with you? Come on, next week's exam.
Well, actually, this is the second to last class because the last class is going to be Thursday class. And that is correct. Next week is exam. And you guys know with me. You guys get rid of me. So next week, I will be just a bad dream.
I always said that, but anyway, yeah. All right, go to number one. Number two, for the orals, because like I said, I know you're gonna lash real hard. So for the orals, I'm sure that you're gonna put up what is come for exam for orals like before the week out.
I will talk about the oral exam on Thursday, but let me tell you guys
All
that
right.
one thing I want to tell you guys, and let me tell you now, instead of 10 questions, it's going to be 5 questions. So, two new things about this oral. It's not going to be 10 questions. It's going to be only 5 questions. So questions are going to be a little bit hard. You will have all the questions though. So you will have a PowerPoint with all the questions. We practice the question for unit 8 already, and this Thursday we're gonna practice the question from unit 9. It's not questions that you've never seen. It's not ¿cómo te llamas? ¿Cuál es tu teléfono anymore? So I'm not gonna ask. Oh, actually, 3 new things. The second new things, 5 questions only. I'm not gonna ask any of the basic questions. I will not ask any of the basic questions. That's the second new thing. And the third new thing is that I will, guys, set a limit of time because I cannot be more than 4 minutes, 4 minutes with one student. Because just basic math, 30 students, if I spend 10 minutes with one of you guys, it's going to be 300 minutes. En 300 minutes, 6, 12, 18, 24. So it's like, I mean, imagine how many hours I'm going to be with you all. And that's what actually happened in the second exam. That is what happened in the previous exam number 3. That the last student, I mean, I finished with the last students almost at 11 at night, and I started at 4. So just imagine, uh, I wouldn't say not tomorrow you because as long as you guys, as I admit you in the meeting, it's just 5 minutes, 10 minutes with you. But imagine myself, I started at 4 and I finished at 11 without eating, without standing for that chair, without. So just imagine. So point I'm trying to make, I'm gonna make a few different things in this oral exam, and these things are only 5 questions. No questions from the basic questions. What is your name? How you look like? What time is it? What's the weather like? Etc. And the third thing is that I will set a limit of time. I will not let you indefinitely like 1 second, sir. All and myself waiting. No. I repeat the questions 2 times. The second times after a few seconds. If you, I will give you some time to think. Of course, I'm not a monster. I know that you have to think, but guys, this is a for exam. If you have to think so badly in the last exam, so that means that you are not ready enough. So you really have to be ready. You really have to be prepared. You really have to start. You really have to practice for this oral exam. I'm telling you for hand. Okay?
Yes, sir. Sir, I know about you, but sir, like I said, I know you come here because me is number one, right? So, sir, you will put up the oral questions before we go because sir is number one, and I know you come hard.
Mhm.
That's the thing.
And actually, as you ask number one, I will not be tired. I will be so energetic and fresh. So I will feel like asking you the hardest questions.
Sir, no, right? Because when you're done with me, it's everybody's inbox me. Wait again, wait again, wait again. I said, wait again. I pass a beat. I got
Okay,
to step right now.
behavior. Let me continue with the class. So, yeah, Vanessa, that's it. You have any question, you can WhatsApp message me. I will answer all the questions. I just don't want to spend too much time here talking about that. Actually,
No problem.
carry all your questions, guys. Bring all your questions about the oral exam because I know that a few of you will have some questions for the next class. In the next class, I will answer all your questions about the oral exam. So let me continue now. Los verbos conocer y saber. As I told you, there is only one verb in English. That verb is to know, but in Spanish, there are 2 ways to say to know. There are 2 different verbs for to know. Those verbs are conocer and saber. When we use conocer, when we say to know, but we mean that I know people, like I know Vanessa, I know Yulisha, I know Serena, I know Pedro, I know Miguel, know people, or know places. As in, I know Cuba, I know Guyana, I know Panama, I know New York, I know London, I know Australia, and so on. Right? So when you say I know, and you mean that you know people or you know places, you will use the verb conocer. C-O-N-O-C-E-R. Conocer. Conocer. I know Adriana. Conozco a Adriana. What is that a that came out of nowhere? I will tell you as now. My auntie knows Madrid. Mi tía conoce Madrid. My auntie knows Madrid. Mi tía, Madrid is the capital of Spain. Mi tía conoce Madrid. And so what that A between I know and Adriana? When I say I know Adriana. Because if you say that you know a person, is a rule in Spanish, you always have to put, is a rule, you have to put the preposition a, letter A in English, letter A in Spanish. I have to put the a between I know and the name of the person. So it's like in Spanish we say, I know to Adriana. Instead of I know Adriana, I know she well. So we don't say I know her. We say I know to her. It's a rule. Because Adriana is the direct object, and when the direct object in a sentence, which is the part of the sentence that receives the direct action of the verb, is a person, then you have to use the preposition a. Is the only case when we use the preposition a in Spanish for direct objects. That is the explanation. That you don't need to know that explanation. So just need to know that when you say that you know a person, you have to put a between the verb conozco and the name of the person. So that is conocer. What about saber? Saber is when you say that you know. Saber is when you say that you know, but what you know is a piece of information. Like, for example, I know that they are sharing the cash grant. That is something that I know for true. I'm not saying that I know, I don't know. That's something, for whichever reason, that was something that came to my mind, the cash grant. So I know that they are sharing the cash grant. That I know is not conozco, as in I know for people or places. That I know is sé, S-E, sé. Sé que I know that they are sharing the cash grant. Están repartiendo el beneficio. Okay? So, when I say I know, as in I know how to do something, I also use the verb saber. So to know has two different verbs in Spanish. Conocer, when I know people or places, or saber, when I know information or I have certain skills. But as you know, como ustedes saben, we don't use either conocer or saber. We conjugate these verbs. What's the conjugation of the verb saber, as in to know people or places? Not saber, conocer. Conozco, I know. Conoces, you know. Conoce, he or she knows. Conocemos, we know. Conocen, you'll know. Conocen, they know. So conozco is I know. I know Guyana. Conozco Guyana. You know Cuba. Conoces Cuba. My brother knows New York. Mi hermano conoce Nueva York. We all know Celine Dion. Conocemos a Celine Dion. Remember that when you say I know, and what you know is a person, you have to put before the name of the person the preposition a, which is the letter E in English. So, conocemos a Celine Dion. Now, if what you know is something, then you will use the verb saber. Sé, I know. Sabes, you know. Sabe, he or she knows. Sabemos, we know, and so on. Let me go back. Let me go back 2 slides. Remember that for the verb to know, we have 2 different verbs in Spanish. Conocer, when what you know is a person or a place, or saber, when what you know is things like information, skills, and so on. Mhm. So, well, that's it about conocer and saber. Any question before I move to the last point of the class? What's the time, by the way? 5:02. Oh, wow. I'm pretty fast today. El pretérito de los verbos regulares. The preterite of the regular verbs. Blah, 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 blah. When you are going to talk about something that happened in the present, you use the present tense of the verb. As in, I speak Spanish now. But when you are going to talk about something that happened in the past, you will not say I speak, you will say I spoke. As in, yesterday, I spoke French. Yeah, because I was with some French friends. Or yesterday I was in France. Yesterday I was in French Guyana. No matter why, yesterday I had to speak French. So yesterday I spoke French. I speak now. I spoke yesterday. Same thing in Spanish. When you are going to talk about something that happened in the present, you use the present tense. Yo hablo español ahora. So right now I'm speaking Spanish. Yo hablo español. But if I'm going to say that, well, actually I'm speaking English right now. So if I'm going to say that yesterday I spoke Portuguese because I was talking to my Brazilian friend, I would say I spoke Portuguese yesterday. Hablé, no hablo, HBLO, no, HBLE. Hablé, hablé portugués ayer. I spoke Portuguese yesterday. Or ayer, yesterday, hablé portugués. Yesterday, I spoke Portuguese. So you see the ending of the Spanish verb is different when you use a different tense. That, unfortunately, that's one of the hardest parts of Spanish. That we have many, many, many endings for the verb, depending on the tense, depending on the mood of the verb. Yet verbs in Spanish have mood, depending on the voice, depending on the aspect. So depending on the person, depending on the number. Yeah, that's Spanish. Spanish verbs change a lot, especially the ending. These are some expressions that you can use with the simple past or preterite. That's what we call, that's a more technical word for simple past in Spanish, in English, preterite. Esta mañana, this morning, that's past because that passed already. Anoche, last night, yesterday, ayer, ayer por la mañana, yesterday morning, last year, el año pasado, and so on. Now, the preterite. Again, for the AR verbs, we have a set of endings, but for the other verbs, we have a second set of endings. Which are the endings for the AR verbs? Aste, o, amos, aro. Those in red. Actually, there's a song in internet. I should have sent you a link. Aste, o, almorzaron. Almorzaron. It's something more than that, and I don't know how really to sing. Actually, the song is very boring, but it's really catchy. It's so stupid that you can stop singing it and singing it and singing it. Hasta yo, almorzaron, almorzaron. Eh, I will find the link. I will find the YouTube video and I will send it to you. It's Spanish teachers singing that song. So, hasta o, almorzaron. So again, to conjugate any AR verb in Spanish in simple past, this is not present anymore. This is simple past. Just drop the ending AR and you add the corresponding endings. Haste, o, almorzaron. So, hablé, I spoke. Haste, hablaste, you spoke. Hablamos, we spoke. Hablaron, you guys spoke, they spoke. Hablé, hablaste, habló, hablamos, hablaron. I spoke, you spoke, he, she spoke, we all spoke, you all spoke, they spoke. Hablé, hablaste, habló, hablamos, hablaron. Look, habló, H-A-B-L-O, means he spoke. But see that on top of the O here, there's an accent. Look, you can see the accent here because if you don't write an accent and you write H-A-B-L-O and you say hablo, that means I speak. But habló with an accent on the O means he or she spoke. So it's not the same, even it's the same letters, the accent makes the difference. See, let me pronounce I speak, he spoke. Hablo, habló. Hablo, habló. Hablo, habló. Hablo, habló. Hablo means I speak. Hablo with the accent on top of the O means he or she spoke. So the accent makes an important difference in Spanish. These are the endings eas, teo, almorzaron for the AR verbs. But what about the endings for the ER and the IR? Well, good news. The endings for ER are exactly the same, 100% the same endings than the endings for IR. ER and IR have the same endings. I, iste, io, imos, ieron. I, iste, io, imos, ieron. I, iste, io, imos, ieron. Comí, you ate. Comiste, perdón. Comí, I ate. Comiste, you ate. Or you had dinner. Comió, he or she ate. Comimos, we ate the food. Comieron, you all ate. Comieron, they ate. So, I, iste, io, imos, ieron. But let me move to 2 slides further. Look, see, the ending for the AR verbs, I'm talking about the simple past, are haste, o, amos, aron. Haste, o, amos, aron. And the endings for the other verbs, ER and IR, are the same. I, iste, io, imos, ieron. I, iste, io, imos, ieron. And that is the simple past in Spanish. Any question about the simple past in Spanish? Simple past or preterite, same thing. Preterite or simple past means the same.
No, señor.